On Monday, Turkey and Azerbaijan launched joint military exercises involving nearly 3,000 soldiers. The drills, which come as Turkey is set to celebrate its centennial anniversary, are the first joint military exercises between the two countries since Azerbaijan regained the entirety of the Karabakh region from Armenian separatists back in September. The exercises were held across Azerbaijan, including the capital Baku, Nakhchivan, and newly liberated areas in Karabakh. As the military drills opened, Iran hosted a regional summit to push towards a final peace settlement between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Iran also warned that the presence of outsiders from the region would complicate the situation further. Recently, Armenia and France signed a defense deal that included radar systems and anti-air missiles. Azerbaijan and Armenia went to war over Karabakh back in 2020, which ended with a Russian-brokered ceasefire. And now for more on the Turkey-Azerbaijan military drills. Joining me now from Ankara is Merve Seren Yeşiltaş. She is an associate professor at Yıldırım Beyazıt University. And from Baku, Farid Shafiev. He is the chairperson at the Center of Analysis of International Relations. A warm welcome to you both, and thanks for joining me on Straight Talk. So, Merve, the joint military drills started on Monday are dedicated to the 100th anniversary of the establishment of the Turkish Republic, and they were also named Mustafa Kemal Atatürk 2023. But the drills were also the first drills between the two countries after the liberation of Karabakh. So talk to us about the significance of them, especially if we have a look into their timing.
Well, actually, I think the first thing that we have to remind that on 15 June 2021, there was a Susha treaty, was signed between the Turkey and Azerbaijan, which was liberated. The Susha is the place where it was liberated from the Armenian occupation. I think it's very important. This treaty is very important because these two states signed a strategic alliance agreement regarding to the national, regional, and international problems, to the global problems. And according to this agreement, this two states was changed. That in the past there was a discourse that we were saying that two states, one nation, and after this agreement we started to discuss two states, one nation, and one army. And it was very important to recall that after the 2020, this 44-day long of homeland war of Azerbaijan, it started to discuss that how they are going to accept, adopt a Turkish model of army. So it is very important, this strategic level of alliance and this joint exercise is a just message for the 100th anniversary of Turkey. It presents like a power projection of Turkey, but at the same time, I think it's a message between the both armies that they are trying to know and dominate the region better. They are achieving strategic goals, but at the same time, it represents the territorial integrity of the Azerbaijan. It's a very important message, I think so.
So from here, Farid, the exercises are being held in the Azerbaijani capital of Baku, the Nakhchivan, and also the liberated lands. What is the symbolism behind the locations that have been chosen?
Exactly. Symbolism plays an important role. My colleague already mentioned that, Azerbaijan and Turkey very closely cooperate. There is also agreement on common air defense partnership. Karabakh was 30 years under occupation. Nakhchivan was under constant threat and basically under blockade by Armenia. So these two areas represent the territories which were destroyed, and represented external threats was coming to those territories. So symbolic gesture is to show solidarity and some practical steps. For example, one of the drills elements was to repel Russian Iskander missiles, because during the war the Armenians launched twice Iskander missiles against Azerbaijan. I'm speaking about 2020 war. So both symbolism and practicality combined ensures that countries working to implement Shusha Declaration, which underlines that two countries will support each other in times of the threat to territorial integrity and national security. So,
Merve, as joint military drills started on Monday, Turkey's Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan got together with his Iranian, Russian, Azerbaijani, and Armenian counterparts in Tehran within the framework of 3+3 regional cooperation platform. where they have discussed the stability of the South Caucasus. Has this come to you as a surprise in terms of timing, and has anything significant been achieved after this meeting?
Actually, that I think so. This, military exercise, it was just, reflecting the Azerbaijan self-defense opportunities and capabilities. But at the same time, I think it's a message for the regional actors as well, because this Azerbaijan and Armenia conflict, it's not only about between the Azerbaijan and Armenia, but there are also different actors like Turkey, Georgia, Russia, France, India, and United States.
Iran.
So, Iran and other countries. So the thing is that I think the flag of the Azerbaijan, it was just, raised, I think it was last week in Hankandi. So the thing is that it is not just only about, freeing the, occupied places, but at the same time, it demonstrates the legitimate sovereignty of the Azerbaijan. So the thing is that maybe we will discuss Russia's, peacekeeping operation that was, planned until 2025. Maybe they're and this mission earlier, because the Russia, I think when we are discussing this 3+3 meetings, at the same time, there are some kind of Russian discomfort towards the Armenia, because in the previous years, we were looking that the Russia and Armenia, they were very close friends with the military cooperation, even the Russians have a, military headquarters in Yerevan.
Yes.
But at the same time, the Armenia is a collective security treaty organization member and the Eurasian Economic Union. But as you mentioned, so the Armenians, closer ties with the Western countries, like military procurements from the France or military, agreements with the India. So I think these are all, disturbing this peace process, which is also disturbing Iran and Russia as well. So because what they were expecting is that they just wanted to, let these major powers out of this region.
Yes.
They don't want imperial powers to be involved into this region anymore. And so I think this was very important in terms of this, meanwhile agreements.
Yes, Farid, Merve briefly mentioned, because on the very same day, Armenia and France signed a military cooperation agreement, which includes the deployment of French radar systems and also missiles. So what do you make of this, since it is Armenia's first such an agreement with a Western nation? And we also keep in mind that Iran said that countries outside the region would complicate things. So was Tehran talking about a specific country?
Oh, well, Tehran talking in terms of 3+3, it's the initiative was put forward by President of Azerbaijan immediately after the war, and the aim was to discuss regional matters by regional countries. Azerbaijan had never objected to cooperation with external powers, with European Union or United States. But what Azerbaijan is objecting is their interference into or creating obstacles to peace process. And this is what exactly France doing by trying to deliver now and actually signed the deal to deliver modern weaponry to Armenia at the time when both countries working towards peace. And one more important element, actually ironic, I would say, element. We remember how Turkey was criticized for purchasing S-400 Russian air defense system, and Americans complained that the Turkey combination of the S-400 with the NATO standards, with NATO weaponry, jeopardizes the security of all NATO alliance. But now France, NATO member, deliver its modern weaponry to Armenia, and specifically the same air defense system, to a country which air defense system ruled by Russia. I mean, it's controlled by Russia. It's
yes.
Armenia, as Merve mentioned, is the CSTO member. So how it comes now? Everyone is silent. No one is objecting.
Mm-hmm. So, Merve, could you talk to us about the French strategy when it comes to the South Caucasus? I mean, could it play a mediator role in this process, since it has openly picked its side?
Well, actually, it's not a mediator or a facilitator role, but rather I think they're disturbing the peace process. Because the thing is that when we are looking at the Azerbaijan and Armenia relations, most of the times, the United States and the European Union Parliament, there are so many bills to apply arms embargo or sanctions to Azerbaijan. But this never ever happened to the occupying Armenia, which is the fact that we are still witnessing to the Israel and Hamas conflict now. So the thing is that on the one side, we have got this Armenian lobby that is very influential in the United States and European Union Parliament. So, but on the other side, we see that the regional countries and the major powers at the same time they are respecting to the territorial integrity of the Azerbaijan, and even the Russia. I think it is more cautious and more careful about its steps towards the Azerbaijan. And then another second thing is that maybe, of course, my colleague knows much better than me, but I think the Pashinyan is also trying to behave more coherently, I think so, and more compromising. But the domestic and the foreign pressure doesn't allow him to do it. So the thing is that even the Armenian state, it's not a very established state. It's not a very, stable state. Just remember what was happening, the raids in the Armenian parliament in 1999.
Yes.
So even there like so many fragmentation in the Armenian parliament, which I think it prevents Pashinyan to take very rational steps towards it.
So, Farid, how do you see the situation? Is it possible that a peace deal between Azerbaijan and Armenia can be reached by the end of this year, or should we expect further delays given that many key players, as Merve mentioned, Turkey and Russia, are kind of distracted by the ongoing conflict in Gaza and in the region?
It's very hard to predict anything when it comes to Armenia, because I fully agree with Merve that Pashinyan steps sometimes, he's trying to be coherent, but speaking frankly, he can change his mind within a couple of days and make some controversial statements. What we have for now, it's the Azerbaijan's proposal to sign peace deal based on the mutual recognition of territorial integrity of two countries, Armenia and Azerbaijan. We made some progress on that document, and one of the obstacles was the Karabakh issue, which is now basically closed. So we indeed have a prospect for signing peace deal. And in his latest statement, Pashinyan at the Armenian parliament, he said, actually at the European Parliament, sorry, he said that Armenia is ready to sign. But whether this process will go smoothly, it can be some domestic factors, as Merve mentioned, 99 events when the parliament was, when it was terrorist attack, or some outside forces who will interfere. It's hard to predict.
I understand. Okay, Farid and Merve, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me on Straight Talk.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.